Idaho Matters is brought to you in part by St. Luke's Pharmacy, now offering free home delivery. For daily medications or one time prescriptions, home delivery is easy to set up. It's convenient and safe. St. Luke's Pharmacy, now delivering to your doorstep. Information on how to get started at stlukesonline.org.
The Boise State Public Radio app. News, music, and more.
Idaho Matters.
Morning Edition.
All things considered.
The Connector.
And more.
And more.
You can take us wherever you go and stay connected. Without it, you're missing out. Download it free.
You can also communicate using the Talk to Us tab.
The Boise State Public Radio app.
From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, I'm Samantha Wright, filling in for Jim Gaudette, and it's Idaho Matters. It was the summer of 1976. That's how Doug Copsey starts telling the story of the history of the Idaho Shakespeare Festival. It's celebrating its 50th anniversary, and Doug was there when it all started, bringing together the very first play to be performed, Midsummer Night's Dream. Now the festival plays to thousands of fans every summer, has its own theater, but back then it was just 3,500 people on a lawn in downtown Boise. Doug's been an integral part of the festival ever since then. He has a book about how it's grown. It's called With Our Goodwill. And he'll be talking about the 50-year history next month at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute in Boise. Doug, hi. Thanks for being here and sharing a little history with us.
Hi, Samantha. Thanks for having me.
Okay, take us back to 1976. You're standing at One Capitol Center. Describe
I
it.
Downtown. I was admiring Idaho's first high-rise office building, One Capitol Center, that had just opened, and I couldn't help but notice the sloping lawn down to a beautiful patio with these two sweeping staircases coming down either side, and I just thought, what a great place for a theater. What a great place to do a play. I wonder if we could put something together there. And we did. I'd been working with a group of really talented actors and designers that I met through Boise State the year before, doing a play called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And we had been doing some shows at another little theater called Theater in a Trunk in an old bakery down in East Boise. And I went to, we all had the idea we'd like to start a professional theater company so we could try and get paid for what we did. And nothing against community theater like Boise Little Theater, which is fantastic and has been for many decades now. But we just thought it would be fun to try and get something like that started. So I went to Skip Oppenheimer, who I had gone to high school with, whose family built One Capitol Center, and said, "Skip, you made me a theater." he said, "What?" And so I explained to him what we'd like to try and do. And he said, "Oh, you have to talk to my brother, Doug. He's the artsy one in the family." So he took me in and introduced me to Doug. And Doug just took to the idea right away. He said, "I love it. What do you need?" So they gave us the use of the space to help. They wanted to help promote the new restaurant they had put in the basement level down there. So I said, we need to have that space for 2 weeks. I want to run a Midsummer Night's Dream for 4 nights a week for 2 weeks and see if we can get people to come out. Well, there were a number of hurdles that had to be jumped before we could actually get the play up and running. Not the least of which was how do we charge admission to an open lawn? Well, and how can we let people bring in their own picnics and have drinks, alcohol and stuff as they watch the show? We wanted to make it a picnic basket kind of a theater there. Bring your blanket, spread out on the lawn, and enjoy the show. So they did. They decided that we could do it if we fenced off around the sidewalk at the top of the hill. So we built this fence, and I had the brilliant idea of since we had no money for a printed program, of selling ad space on the fence for those 2 weeks to downtown merchants. So the ads sold like hotcakes naturally, and we who wouldn't want Ninth and Main billboard space in downtown Boise? So we got the ads all painted on the fence. 2 nights before we moved in on the Sunday before we were going to open on Wednesday, put the fence up, bing, we got the set moved in, got everything ready to go. And the next morning, Monday, I got a call from Skip. He said, the city attorney called me. He wants to know what the heck's going on with this fence down there. That's billboards, and downtown is not zoned for billboards. He said, we got to take it down. I was like, oh, we can't take it down. If we take it down, we can't charge admission. We can't charge admission. We can't do the show. What are we going to do? Well, we went back and forth with a bunch of people. And long story short, I ended up on the phone with the city attorney. And he said, explain to me what it is you're doing there. So I told him we wanted to have 2 weeks. We wanted to try to get professional theater going here, present a Shakespeare play. And we had been selling tickets like crazy. And he said, just a minute. And I heard him talking to somebody over the other side of the room. And the person that he was talking to said, he said, how long are they going to be there? And the city attorney said 2 weeks. And there was a pause, a long pause.
Oh.
And then the voice on the other side of the room said, you tell them they got 2 weeks to take down that illegal fence. Well, the voice on the other side of the room was Mayor Dick Erdley, I found out. And he gave us a pass so we could get this thing going. I'll never forget the first night in the dressing room. We were back getting ready to go on stage, and Victoria Holloway, my co-director and the first artistic director for the festival, came running in. She said, "My God, there's 350 people out there." Well, we were all blown away. We'd never seen an audience that size for theater in Boise anywhere before, and so that kicked off the run really well. And as you said earlier, by the end of the 8 performances, 3,500 people had shown up. And then the question everybody was asking me after that was, what are you going to do next year?
And there was a next year and a next year and a
Oh, man,
next year.
it's amazing where it's gone. It's amazing. My book that you also mentioned, thank you, is dedicated to the community, the people of this community and the Treasure Valley, because without them, we would not have a Shakespeare Festival. They're the ones who showed up and bought the tickets and kept showing up year after year and are still showing up year after year. So that's that community support is really what's put us over the top, I think.
Well, I know we can't go through 50 years in in about 5 minutes, but
No.
as the founder of one of the most iconic festivals in Idaho, you must have some really great behind the scenes stories. So I'm going to ask you just for one. What's the most crazy, outrageous, fun, touching? Give me one story from behind the scenes.
Well, I can think of a lot, as you said, but the one that jumps to mind is that same first season.
Mm-hmm.
We were getting ready to open on the second Wednesday after 3 days off, and Sue Galligan, who was playing Peter Quince, came in. Her nephew, Pat Delana, was playing Demetrius. She said, "Oh, Demetrius has had an accident. He's in the hospital getting stitches
Oh
on his
no.
face. He won't be able to perform tonight." And we went, "Oh, what? This is like 2 hours or so, 3 hours before curtain." And we were all running around panicked, and we said, "What are we going to do?" Well, we got to replace Demetrius. Who's going to play Demetrius? Well, Victoria said, why don't we just shift everybody around and we'll eliminate a couple of little roles and put one of those guys in Demetrius and everybody else can share that other stuff. And we kind of went, not a good idea. Well, somebody had the thought that Barbara McKeon, who was playing Helena, her boyfriend, Jim Owen, had been working with her, reading running lines with her during, as we rehearsed the show, and was pretty familiar with the role. It also turns out Jim was approximately the same size as Pat Delana, and his costume would fit. So we said, I just said, why don't we just give him a script, put him in the costume, explain to the audience what happened, and he'll do Demetrius, and he can carry a script on stage. Well, we did that.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was one of the most incredible theater experiences I've ever had. Um, we had people, the other actors all pitched in, moving him where he needed to be and in his blocking. And he did a masterful job of following the script and reading the part. And a lot of off the to the side type jokes were going around as we moved him and did things that were sort of out of the ordinary in a real show. But at the end, it all worked out great, and the audience gave Jim a standing ovation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, that's one
Oh,
of those memories that really sticks with you.
yeah. Okay. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Jim actually was one of those guys who kept a journal, and in my book he gave me the pages from the journal that he wrote that night after the show about his experience, and it's in the book. It's really fun to read.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, we've got about 2 minutes. The festival, I know. The festival is 50 years old this year. How are you feeling about the anniversary?
Oh, old. No, it's absolutely fabulous. This theater has come so far uh, through the work of so many people. I certainly didn't start this thing alone. There were a whole group of us that all worked together as a team, and that's been the way it's worked all the way going forward. When Mark Cuddy took over from me, and then Rod Sabalos, and then Charlie Fee and Mark Hoffman came in '92 and '93 and grew it beyond Idaho to Cleveland and then Tahoe. We branched out Idaho Theater for Youth in '83 and brought it back in '96 as the educational arm of the festival. And Shakespearean's tours that the educational thing sees 50,000 students every year now in the schools. It's just incredible how far this whole thing has come.
Wow, what a legacy. What
It
a
is.
legacy. Oh my gosh. Well, it's a
Yeah,
great story. Um, Doug, thanks for sharing a little bit with us.
sure. If people would like the whole story, they can check out my book. Shameless plug.
It's called With Our Goodwill.
Yeah.
And we've been speaking with Idaho Shakespeare Festival founder Doug Copsey about the 50-year history of the festival. He's going to be looking back at the anniversary at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute in Boise on May 18th.
And thanks so much for listening to Idaho Matters from Boise State Public Radio. Do you have thoughts about today's episode? Make sure you email us at idahomatters@boisestate.edu or reach out on our socials. If you learned something from this episode today, share it with someone else who needs to know about it. Hi, Idaho Matters podcast listeners. If you're on your smartphone right now, or if you have it nearby, I wanted to pop in to tell you about something to check out. Boise State Public Radio is now on Nextdoor. Here's what that means. Trusted local news, thoughtful reporting, and stories from across Idaho right along your neighborhood updates. If you already have the Nextdoor app, you're halfway there. Just search Boise State Public Radio and hit follow.